Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are the Video Game Fashion Police. We look at video game characters' outfits, accessories, and overall sense of fashion.
And judge them.
So, it comes to this. JEM and the Holograms. JEM versus Pizzazz. Yes, we know they're not video games, they're cartoons, but it's our show. We can do what we want. So, 2 weeks ago, we looked at some of our favorite JEM outfits, and we liked them. We think JEM's a pretty snazzy dresser. Last week, we looked at Pizzazz, also a snazzy dresser in her own incredibly unique way. So, when comparing both characters' overall sense of fashion, Kelly, talk about how you feel about each one individually and then how they compare to each other.
Oh, okay. So when I think of JEM versus Pizzazz in their fashion, JEM is so much more, to me, a pastel. So, I'm very moved by colors. And so you think April and pastels and spring, and you kind of, when you see all of just scrolling through JEM's wardrobe or flipping through her hangers or however you're going to do it, you're going to find more of the baby, the periwinkle, not the blue, although she does have some very bold colors. I'm just saying as a general. Whereas Pizzazz is all secondary. She doesn't have yellow, she has mustard. She doesn't have blue, she has, that midnight blue. She doesn't have, orange, she has like burnt sienna, which is more of a brown. But
she doesn't have green, she has neon green.
Yeah, so she's always a something, she's got those secondary colors, which like Freddy Krueger's sweater was created because of the contrast of the colors look unnerving together. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Pizzazz really is like, no, I'm going to take what you would just at first think is unnerving and make you think something else. So, and it is, and I hate to say it about two completely fake characters, but like you think about like the wholesome versus the, you think like JEM is like Reese Witherspoon, and for some reason she has this perfect little Sweet Home Alabama good girl image, and then you have in the other corner, what's her name? This Miley Cyrus as Pizzazz or something. And I love them both. Let's be true. I'm a fan of both. So that's kind of how I see them together. What was the second part of your question?
How they compare to each other, but you just compared to there. So let's get down to it. Who has the better fashion sense? I mean, that's probably too simple a question for something as complex as an entire sense of fashion, but I'm looking for internet clicks. So
what we do, we judge people.
That's right.
It's funny because when I was picking the outfits, I had many more for JEM than I did for Pizzazz.
And I did too. And yes. we both, I think in our lists, we both picked when we're going to independently go through the lists, pick our favorites, and then compare them, and then choose what we'll talk about on the show based on that. We both had, I think, like 2 more picks for JEM than we had for Pizzazz.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. And
granted, part of that is JEM in sheer numbers has more outfits over the course of the 65 episodes than Pizzazz does, much in the same way as the Holograms have more songs over the course of the series than the Misfits do. So that is going to affect the numbers, but there you go.
But I'm going to have to ride the Pizzazz bandwagon. Okay. And the reason why is because even though we picked less and we that we picked the same three, which is also very interesting. You would think that then we see more limits in her, and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I wasn't choosing the rest of her outfits is because some of them are just so outlandish, but they're just so her. You know, I feel like if I had to get to the head of the character,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Pizzazz specifically, Pizzazz doesn't get dressed in the morning. She creates a personality in the morning that the clothes and the makeup and the accessories, like she's like, today I'm going to step on people and ask them the time. You know, like she knows what her day is. Today I'm going to try to do whatever it is. So I'm going to need this power outfit or this fur coat. Whereas I think JEM is much more, she falls backwards into, you know, oh, look, a dress, you know, and someone bought this for me or someone made this for me. And so I feel like hers is a little bit less who she is and just a little bit more who JEM wears what she's supposed to wear and Pizzazz wears what she wants to wear. And I got to give it to her. Even if I don't like it, you got to give it to someone who has like a decisive opinions. Because if you scroll through all of Pizzazz's outfits, you might hate them, but they're
a choice.
They're a choice. They are exact. You're like, yep, she didn't accidentally put that on. Whereas I could see JEM being like, you know, I'll wear this, you know, and so that's why I think I also like more of JEM's because they're not as you know, you're not going to have a big debate over them because they don't evoke emotion, if you will. But that's also why I would have to go with Pizzazz because it does evoke emotion. Even if you don't like it, you're talking about it.
That's a good point. It's kind of interesting because when I was comparing JEM and Pizzazz's fashions, I was immediately reminded of how I compared the Holograms and the Misfits music.
Okay.
To me, they're both great bands and their music is wonderful. Likewise with fashion, I think both JEM and Pizzazz are super keen when it comes to the fashion sense. Now with the music, I found that the Holograms had a more consistent level of quality. But I found their music, but I think it was consistent, that consistent level of quality because it generally was safer. When you listen to a Hologram song, you pretty much know exactly what you're going to get. It's not, for the most part, there are exceptions, of course, but it's not as experimental as the Misfits music can be. And when you push boundaries and experiment and try new things, you're going to fail. So while the Holograms, for me, had a more consistent level of musical quality, the Misfits, while they had lower lows, they also had higher highs.
Yes.
Now,
you described that very well. The safe, that's the word that I think that was in the back of my mind that I wasn't able to get out to the forefront. Like they're safe choices. Yeah.
Yeah. And generally speaking, that's kind of how I view their fashion sense. JEM is a little bit more safe. She has a wonderful variety of looks,
absolutely,
but it's also mostly there are very few looks in JEM's wardrobe that make you double take and go, "Ooh, what is this?" Most of them are like, "Oh." Whereas Pizzazz, a lot of the looks do make me go, "Ooh, what is this and why and how?" But it works. So the only difference between that though would be, for me at least, so Pizzazz definitely has the higher highs, I think, of the overall fashion line. But I also feel that JEM has the lower lows because, like you said, when Pizzazz's outfits don't work, and some of them don't work, they don't work in a singularly unique way to Pizzazz and a way that's genuinely fascinating and fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Whereas some of JEM's outfits that I feel don't work, just don't work.
He's like,
and you're like, oh,
this.
JEM. No,
Yeah.
no, JEM. JEM. No. This isn't even interesting. This is just no. So I too, I'm gonna hand it to Pizzazz. She has, I feel, some of the most striking looks,
Yeah.
most interesting looks, and just some of the coolest and badass looks. Like again, I love our picks that overlapped. They're just
Yes.
great outfits that are so totally memorable. Like a lot of JEM's outfits, unless they're really themed, I might not remember what episode they come from. But Pizzazz, I have this, like, I'll remember the
Yeah.
song that I saw, that I like, the designing woman outfit I associate with that song, the Universal Appeal outfit. That's not the official name of them, but that's how I remember them. So yeah,
That's really cool.
JEM certainly no slouch. They are both top tier fashion peoples. But yeah, if I were handing out internet cookies, I'd give them to Pizzazz.
Give her a douche coin and call it a day.
Here's your internet cookie. You're still a jackass, but you look good. So, do you agree? Do you disagree? Oh, I'm sure you'll let us know if you disagree.
Can't wait.
So that's it from us. I hope you enjoyed this video game fashion discussion of cartoon characters.
Who should be video game characters.
Which absolutely should be a video game to make this episode retroactively relevant to the series. Yeah. Our series, Video Game Fashion Police. So that's it from us. We will be back next time with probably an actual video game character. But until then, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Kelly.
And from us to you,
stop dressing like an asshole.